Morning.
Health edition of Phoenix. We get together every week to try and help each other in some way. And as a group, we grow as a group. We learn, we grow, we pay our mortgages, we do everything that we need to do to get through whatever it is the area that we're trying to get to. Make sure your goals are really strong. We're just coming up to the quarter area of our year. We're coming up to March, and that's about one fourth of where we want to be. So check your goals. If you are sort of sliding a little bit, get a hold of either Penny Lee or other people that can help you along the way. Okay, this is really important because this really will be the best year you've ever had. The year of the dragon is exactly that, and on 2024, it adds up to 8, which means abundance. So you have that natural energy that this will be great. However, you're still going to have to strategize and still do your thing. You still have to work hard, but you'll have a lot to show for it by the end of the year. So the help is here. You just need to ask, work it out, and I'm sure you'll find different solutions along the way. So we'll move right into our yeah, we can move right into our education. Penny Lee, did you have something or
I do have
all
something.
right, take it away, girl.
Yeah, so I figured I'd make it simple because Graduate Thrivers on this past Tuesday, the last Tuesday of the month, we do our strategy session. And the topic that we discussed this past week was our customer cycle. And so I'm not sure if all of you have a customer journey mapped out, but it's really important to know what the steps are when you are trying to generate business. So, of course, you can figure out what your customer journey is based on what you have done with your previous customers. But I also want you to think outside the box, to think of other ways that you can generate potential new customers. And so one of the biggest things is prospecting, right? So when you're that's the first thing that we need to do. When you're prospecting, how do you prospect? Are you prospecting through networking? Are you prospecting by posting things on social media? How are you prospecting? That's the first thing you need to know. The next thing you need to do, of course, once you prospect is, where are you going to lead them? Are you going to book an appointment? Are you going to do a presentation for them? If you are going to do a presentation, I highly recommend that you have something small, a short version of your presentation that you can offer so that you can expand on it if they are interested in more. That could be your 10-minute presentation that you do here that you can share with other people. So having something prepared so that you can be called on at the last minute is very helpful. Next, of course, once you've booked an appointment, and that's the other thing, how are they booking the appointment? Is it through Calendly? Is it through a phone call? Is it through email? What is the best way for you to actually book your appointments? Then it's the presentation. What is in your presentation? What are all the details you need to have in there? And then obviously the next step is closing. How do you close on your potential customers? And then next step is delivering the product or service that you say you're going to deliver, and then follow up. And a lot of people drop the ball in this area. They do not follow up. And so I know Tony made a commitment this year to connect with people through his card program, sending out cards to people. That's a great follow-up that you can put in place. What is your follow-up system? How do you stay connected with people? And from there, it's about getting referrals and getting more business from the same people you've already done business with, because it's much easier, as Eric has said in the past, to nurture and cultivate the relationships with the current customers you already have versus trying to find new customers all the time. So that is your education for today. So think about your customer journey, your business cycle. How does that all work? Map it out for yourself now so that you can try it out and tweak it as you go along. So there you go. That's your education for today.
Thank you, Penny Lee. That's a great reminder. And in all of those very important steps, follow up is one of the biggest things that the people don't do. In just one quick example, years ago I went through a lot of the messages on my voicemail that I thought I got, and there was one person that kept connecting to me, but I kept forgetting. And then I was about to delete the whole thing, and then there was one. Okay, I should listen to this, and it was a customer, and ended up being 10 years worth of business from that one customer because I just called them back. That's it. I just had to show up. So Penny Lee, great reminder that when the people that we have, the customers that we have, take care of them, because they're the ones that are going to give you those word of mouth thing and everything else that will just make it so much easier. So for those that are watching on Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, and YouTube, we will be having an incredible graphic artist that will be presenting today. He knows a lot about logos and a lot about branding. Steve Brennickmeyer will be presenting. Don't want to miss that particular presentation. He really knows his stuff. So we'll just get right into our introductions. But first of all, I want to try and get the go right into a little bit of housekeeping here. And this is what our website looks like, pbex.ca, or we have phoenixbusinessexchange.com. They're both the same. And this is where everything goes. This is our hub, basically. The member of the week is Mike Volotsky. He's our We Care Focus and Full Stride coach in one of the other groups. And he's going to be featured this week. All right. We have 4 chapters, basically, our Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday group. Each one of these red buttons has the Zoom link built into it. So if you are trying to bring in a visitor, instead of trying to remember or send them a link, just bring them on to this particular site and they can press whichever one. Right now, we're in our Thursday, and this is the one they would actually go. Our after hours group is a very unique group that for those people that are so busy, they can't do any business during the day in that way. So we do it once a month in the evening. So it's an after hours group, starts at 7 o'clock for about an hour. And it's more focused on mastermind. It's more focused on getting your business, getting your goals together. Penny Lee, we're so lucky to have her to be able to host this particular group because she puts everything down and you're accountable. If she is your coach, she is right on top of you, trying to make sure that you're getting your goals on a monthly basis. You have your yearly goals and then they're broken down. And that's what that group actually does. So anybody that is with Phoenix, that is also with the weekly group like we are today, you can come into that group. There's no charge, because we want you to win. The special events coming up, we have Bernie's East Trade Winds every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. A great one to do. This is an international event where you get people from all over the world, India, South America. There's some in the UK, and it's a very good way to link up people, because remember, those people, even though if you have local businesses, those people might have relatives or friends that are in Canada or that even in Ottawa. So it's a great way to connect internationally. Hatha Yoga with Jacqueline every Tuesdays at 6:30. And our Mix and Mingle, our next one is with one of Terry's locations for the senior living, Cogier at Colonel By. It's a beautiful setting, I'm being told. It's got a great view. And so we're going to be meeting there on March, and I believe it's a lunch, 11:30. I will confirm that, but I'm pretty sure it's a lunch for that. So it's 11:30 to 1:30 on that day. Penny Lee's dancing classes are here. We have My Spirit Night coming up on the 27th. And I have a feng shui class at the end of the month, where if you want to know something about space and being able to feng shui your home, your office, whatever it is, to bring in that abundance, and it's very good for health. Our QR directory. Now, this is what you want to press if you want every member as a list. We've got everybody with Phoenix on here. And if this was your phone, you would basically tap the QR code here on your phone, and that would give the actual impression would come up, and then your profile would come up there. So this is where you want that to go. All right. So this way you can find somebody very quickly, and their profile is all here. And this is great because if you're in a trade show and somebody says, "I'm looking for an accountant, I'm looking for a business coach, I'm looking for a place where I can buy flowers, I'm looking for a place where I can buy a home or whatever," this is the way to do it. And you can just simply send that person the e-card, show them the QR, and it's a great way to be able to transfer that profile to somebody else, and it didn't cost you anything. In other words, a lot of people say that, I'm not sure if I have enough money to, work with Ima, our photographer or whatever, but you might know somebody that's getting married. You might know somebody that wants to update their commercial photographs and so on, all the wonderful things that she does. So this is a great way to be able to transfer that to someone else, sort of thing. Okay, as far as our businesses go, we got 13,000 so far referrals this month. Is a little slow, but we have another $1,800 I'll be adding to that. So if we are at the last day of the year, the February the 29th at leap year, imagine something's going to be added to this year. This is that significance. When the year of the dragon comes in and it's a leap year, it's again an anomaly. It doesn't happen very often for sure. And what that really signifies is we get an extra day in February, and energetically, what happens, we get something else added to our goal, something else added to our gifts or whatever it is. So we're going to get a lot of opportunity here coming up. All right. So if you any business that you've done for this month of February, if you can send that to me or send it to Bernie, let us know what kind of businesses that you've done, and that would be great. That adds on to the 4.5 million that we've done since Phoenix has been here. Over 7,100 referrals. That's amazing. We have 1,322 hits on our e-card, and that's where you're showing your QR, you're showing your thing, and that's pretty good because at 1,300 clients, that's based on down the road where people will be able to use your profile that's on their phones. So this is sort of a longer term. We're playing the long game on this one, and that's always a much more powerful thing than what's happening month to month. All right. There's the QR for Phoenix. If anybody has any interest in Phoenix, you can show them this QR on your phone, and it gives them also an idea of what we're involved in, the charity events and so on that's happening. And with the golf tournament that's coming up on August the 1st at the Canadian Golf Course, there's many opportunities there that we're going to be adding more charity funds to that effort. Okay, and that's a wrap for that. Okay. So we'll get right into our introductions. Now, what I want you to do, guys, is that when we do our introductions, instead of asking or telling people what you do, turn the whole thing around in when your services come to pass. In other words, if this and this and this is happening, this is when my services come on screen. This is when that person would need my services or my products. Okay, if we can do it that way, let's practice that. If we can start with Penny Lee. Go ahead, Penny Lee, when you're ready.
Yeah, no problem. Penny Lee Prevost, the Dance Motivator, co-founder of the Graduate Thrivers Incorporated. And typically people reach out to me when they've been in business for maybe a year and they are finding that they are trying to manage and juggle all the different hats, can't quite get a handle on doing everything themselves, and maybe don't know what step to start with. Often I find people have something that they're passionate about and they start sharing it with the world and don't necessarily have a plan on how to get it out there. So what I do is I help people to strategize the step-by-step success process using the 4 C's for success strategy and the positive attitude zone philosophy.
Thank you, Penny Lee. Any BAMs or referrals
Yeah, so I forgot yesterday to mention that I had been on the tuning session with you on Friday, Tony. So that was awesome. I don't often have a chance to do that, so that was fantastic. And things have really started manifesting as a result. So that was pretty cool because it happened very fast. And I do have ongoing business with Susan Ebbs as well as Sheldon Carrasco. I'm not sure if he's still part of the network, but my insurance is with him. So, and I think that's about it for the moment.
Okay, thank you, Penny Lee. And yeah, actually, to as a reminder, we could use a person that does home auto insurance because my motorcycles are going to come due soon, and so yeah, okay, perfect. Next up is Cremina from Langdon
Hello.
Flowers.
Thank you. Well, I'm representing London's Flowers, and we just passed Valentine's Day, which was extremely busy. Yes. And since Penny Lee started the conversation on customer service, I'm going to continue that. We are trying all of our best to attend to all our customers, potential customers that have been with Langton's Flowers for the last 50 years as well. And we offer different services like custom arrangements. We offer subscriptions as well, which is very easy for gifting. Langton's Flowers is preparing arrangements for every occasion, for every holiday, for every celebration, for every morning. So anything that is associated with flowers, it's the beauty, it's the nature. So I would like to invite everyone to go to Langton's Flowers, enjoy the flowers, enjoy the plants. We have lots of gifts as well. And if you have any particular question, you're welcome to ask the associates there. They're going to be happy to help you. If there is something that's not available at the store, we can reorder for you as well. So it's a great service. It's a community flower shop that's been there for the last 50 years. This year we celebrate 50 years with the flower shop. So I'm welcoming everyone to go to the shop. And if you can't go, you're welcome to visit our website at www.langdonsflowers.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me or to email info@langdonsflowers.com, and you'll be happy you did.
Okay. And you could post your e-card, Cremina, on the chat if you can. And have you had any BAMs or any referrals?
I've been so busy. I didn't have a chance to do that. And now we are preparing for the upcoming March of 8th, which is the International Women's Day.
Yes.
So it's one after another.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cremina. Awesome.
You're welcome.
I love your flower shop, and I'm glad that I went there.
Thank you
Up
very
next,
much for coming.
all right. Yeah, thanks, Cremina. And up next is Mr. Eric Perron.
Mute. All right, mute is off. So I am Eric Perron, your real estate advisor with England Volkers. So when do you need me? When you're looking to sell. When you're looking to sell and you say to yourself, all right, I have a goal in mind this year. I need to sell my property. And then what, of course, you need all the best information possible. So you need to get the information, the market information of what's going on. And then what do you need next? You're probably going to be interviewing 2 or 3 other people. So I just want to put it out there that I am very happy to be interviewed for the particular job. I look at this as a job. I am your employee. I am not your partner on your team and all this stuff that a lot of real estate people say. I am your employee. When you hire me, you're hiring me not to list your property, because that's the easy thing. I can put a sign on your lawn. I can put you on MLS. What you're asking me to do is sell your property with all of the skills that I have for marketing, all of the skills that we utilize for exposure, and making sure that we then negotiate the best deal for yourself, for your family. So think of it as, yes, I can list your property, but I am here to sell your property. So when do you need me? When you're looking to sell. Of course, on the buy side, if you're looking to buy, here I am. So I'm Eric Perrin, your investment, that's something I used to say a lot of times. So your real estate advisor with England Volkers Ottawa. Cheers, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Eric. And your home is the biggest investment, so it's still very much a big investment privately. So awesome job. Emma, you're up next, girl. Woohoo!
You mean
Yep, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Tony. All right. So, when do you need me? You need me once you know what is the, once your branding has been done and you know the mood and the feeling of your brand, then I come in and we take the photographs that you need to be able to, the photographs of your product or your services, and then that is going to be used for the creation of all your marketing collateral. So when do you need me? You need me when you need to take photographs or do any printing for your business. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Emma. And how are you? Any referrals or BAMs? How's that going?
No, I'm still working with Dwayne and Nicole in their stuff. As I said, I finished with Alex for his things, and I have to just follow up with a couple of people. I have a BAM with Eric Nick on Monday as well, so that's where we're at.
Okay. Eric Senego?
Sorry.
For Para?
Sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Eric Para. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that would be a good man to see for sure. And just before I move on, Eric, any referrals or BAMs? I think I forgot about to ask you about that.
You betcha. So no referrals this week, but yes, I'm trying to set up something with EMA. So next week we should be talking. Steve and I did have a BAM, organizing one with Terry as well. And what I did want to mention as well, I didn't mention it in my minute, but we've just created like a multimedia room downstairs in at my office on Somerset Street with England Volker's background. We have lights, we have microphone, we have all that kind of stuff. So what I would welcome is that if anybody wants to do a BAM with me, is that we can do a BAM and then we can actually put it on social media. So that way we'll have our lights, we'll have everything, and then we'll ask each other the questions that are pertinent to our businesses. So that's my invitation and my put out to everybody. Take care.
That's perfect. Yeah, Bernie's always looking for videos for BAMs like that. That's perfect. Awesome. And Rick, over to you, sir. So when do we need you?
You need me after the husband tries to fix it. So basically, some of the things that you got to do is there's certain things you do that that actually cause damage to your home that you don't even know you're doing it. An example would be like on Windows. One of the things that we encountered is people that were installing blinds and they're putting the screws in and they're putting it in at the vinyl right on the window frame to make it as tight, nice fitting as possible. Problem is that vinyl is only 1/8 of an inch thick. So if you're putting blinds up, they should be actually going on the trim itself, right, which is a thicker piece of wood, or it's MDF. But behind that should be the 2x4s where the screws can actually get some meat to hold on the blinds, right? Or if you've got them, they hang above the window frame itself on the upper part, which is normally there's a solid wood header. But the most common thing is people are drilling holes into the vinyl to put up their blinds. That's not strong enough to hold up the blind. Blind comes down. It now damaged the vinyl. That can't be repaired. That has to be replaced, right? So now you're looking at a new window just because you've done it wrong. So if you are going to do anything yourself, make sure that you know what you're doing and you're doing it right. Because when your husband screws it up, you're going to give me a call and I'm going to fix it. So Rick from Boyer Boys Home Maintenance Repair, we fix your home.
Thank you, Rick. Any idea if you guys done any BAMs, and meet with anybody else in Phoenix?
I'm not sure. Dad's always out doing stuff.
Okay.
He goes out more than I do, and I go out a lot too.
Yeah, so. For sure. I also find out that people will mess up things with the term followed by how hard can it be? All right, over to Terry. Terry, when do we need you?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Black. I'm your retirement living expert of the group, and I turn fear into knowledge and power about retirement living through education and about retirement living, and also sharing options in one-on-one consultations. So people come to me when they don't want to spend another winter in their home. They find the upkeep and all the expenses and all of the responsibilities too much. Also, when people are challenged with the activities of daily living, and also people who are lonely and isolated. So that's when people reach out to me. So I'm here to help. And so I'm Terry Black with Cozier Senior Living, where you live your best life. Thanks.
Thank you, Terry. BAMs or referrals? How we doing?
Yes, Penny and I had a BAM.
Yeah.
Penny.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you,
Thanks.
Terry. And Sam, over to you, sir. How are things in Orleans?
Very good. Thank you, Tony. Beautiful morning this morning. A little on the cool side, but what the heck, better than a snowstorm. Anyway, good morning, everyone. Sam Sturris, ConnectedCars.ca, specializing in things like this, dash camera for your vehicle. Also do minor repairs, oil changes, brake jobs. And well, this week, if you managed to wash your car, like I did, I washed 3 cars the other day. Well, just this morning, if you're there outside, you might find that car door a little on the frozen side because of the wind and cold temperatures last night and this morning. Before you yank on that door and ruin the rubber seams that are in there, I would suggest that if it is frozen, get some warm water in a plastic jug and run it along the seams of the door to get that released. That'll work just fine for you without damaging those rubber seals, because once they're gone, then you got all kinds of noise and water potential getting into your vehicle. Things going on. Let's see. Last week, while we were off, Bernie brought his wife's vehicle to me. Had a muffler issue. I diagnosed that it was internal to the muffler itself, no leaking anywhere, but and gave him some suggestions on getting that repaired, because just making some extra noise, not causing any exhaust problem. Also, last week, while we were off, we had the mix and mingle, and I was there, and Tony was there, and Penny Lee was there, and Norm Boyer was there with Louise, and I saw Susan Ebbs was there, and Terry Black was there. Oh, and Ema too. Hey, I even talked to Ema about her vehicle, and maybe she'll be bringing it over so I can take a look at her issue with it. That's it for me. Sam Sturris, ConnectedCars.ca. There's my logo that our friend Steve helped me design. ConnectedCars.ca, today's mobile electronics without the cost of the vehicle, and a heck of a lot more.
Thank you very much, Sam. Awesome. And for Susan Ebbs, you're up next, girl.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Tony. When would somebody come to see me? Well, are you tired of hearing about all the pollution that's going into the rivers? Are you tired of hearing about that one more child that's got autism, ADHD? Do you know what the cause of a lot of those problems are? Toxic cleaning products. Too often our cleaning products have got phthalates, chlorine, bleach in them, causing problems with asthma. So what we do is we work with people to get those toxic cleaners out of their home. We have one that's called Clear Power. You put a little bit of product in the bottom of this bottle, and the rest is water. And Clear Power will clean those windows, get all that muck and guck off from the winter. But the beauty of Clear Power is it won't smudge. So I help people to get those chemicals out of their homes, help them to save money in the meantime, and improve their health. So Susan Ebbs, Thrive with Total Renewal. It's a new logo that I'm trying out. Let me see. I had Deidre Jorson and I had a BAM. and ongoing business with Penny Lee and Wendy Chung. And Penny Lee and Steve and I had a conversation just and Terry Lynn or Terry Black also. We all just had quick phone calls. So ongoing business is chalking up. So look forward to seeing everybody next week.
Thank you, Susan. Bernie, over to you, sir.
Folks, Bernie Fransbrook. So when do people come and see me? Well, usually when they're trying to get a little more reach outside their circle of business contacts, that's part of it. You know, it's I do podcasting, networking, and other spaces, and I make cross introductions. So sometimes it's not necessarily someone you can help or someone that can help you. It might be someone that you both are targeting the same audience, in which case there could be a collaboration piece. I can keep going, but that's it. Short, sweet, and simple. You want to know who I've been playing with over the week in a good way? Well, Sam is playing the muffler at the back end of the truck, so that's good, and I appreciate that, Sam. And it's good to know that the rattling sound isn't a death knell of the box, so that's good. And he also said the vehicle still got some life in her, which is even better because it's been paid for. So it's a double whammy. East Trade Winds, yourself, Tony, Ema, Tanya, Carl, and Lana showed up for the event. In fact, Lana is speaking next Tuesday. So yeah, super easy to go to get to the East Trade Winds. If you come into that space, you'll want to use the Chrome browser. I'm a Firefox user, so that's why I'm mentioning it. But if you're using Chrome, it's a lot easier to run on that platform. And Josh last week had a podcast and a band with me. And then some referrals were had and some BAMs, between Tony and Mike and I for golf. Because, we got to learn how to swing our ball downstream in August 1st. It's a Thursday. It's going to be a 9-hole game. Looking for sponsors, looking for golfers, either end of the spectrum, or we're looking for people that want to donate prizes or other things for the tournaments for Make-A-Wish Foundation. So that's kind of the goal. And now I'm going to stop talking.
Okay. Thank you, Bernie. Awesome. Hi, everybody. Tony Jennis from Higher Self. Well, when does my service come into play? When you've tried everything from a physical perspective, whether it's something physical or something that you feel is just not quite right. Recently, I had a client that they tried everything regarding a certain trouble with their physical body, and it just was giving them really havoc. And it was feng shui that we ended up finding what the problem was. Now we're still following up and making sure that this is it. But what feng shui is basically, it's a understanding of energy in your home, because your home and your body and your lifestyle are all the same. Everything that's happening in your home is happening to your body and it's happening to your lifestyle. If there's 9 sections to a home, one of them is money and the other is the honey. That's the love section. And you got to have the right things in those areas. Otherwise, it's going to be very challenging for someone. So this is where my services come in. When you've tried everything, try me last. And chances are we'll find the issue because it isn't something physical. It's something deeper. Tony Jennis from Higher Self, where we are here to raise your spirits. And one particular member that we give more of an opportunity to go through their industry and their business. We give one person that showcase and that the spotlight. And this week we're going to be featuring Steve Brenninkmeyer. And I have a little bio here for Steve. Steve's been a designer in many ways, a graphic designer on many fronts with over 32 years experience. He used to live in Europe, Canada, US, and speaks in 4 languages. Oh, I didn't know that. Steve is married to Alba and has 4 children, 3 of whom are also adults. He has the love for all things creative and a strong desire to do work that makes a difference. Among other things, he's proud to work with small to medium-sized businesses to serving the community as well as nonprofit organizations, helping them improve their people's lives. Steve does the music on the side. He's actually a great singer, great guitar player, and other music. He does keyboard and everything. Has 4 releases, and the 5th one is in the works. Ah, nice. He also has a a soul band called Gravelfoot, and it's coming up to a venue near you in 24. If you have a venue or you know a restaurant that's looking for a different type of a group, Steve would be a good person to get a hold of. Another side hustle that Steve does is pet portraits. He works on both acrylic and watercolor. If you have your pet, you send him a picture and he'll draw it on canvas or whatever. He does that. He's been doing that for years. Little known fact that some people might not know is Steve was on the board of directors of the Ottawa Youth Orchestra, which allows him to be able to combine his love for music to help out in the community and to help young people find their passion. Introducing Steve Brenninkmeyer. Go ahead, Steve.
Thank you so much, Tony. You did a great job there. I think I should probably edit it down a bit now, but anyway, that got a lot of information. I love what I do. I've been a designer for many years, and in fact, it's probably good if I just share a little screen here, do some screen sharing. I'm going to click my button here. I've got one of my trusty. I click that one there, and now the box is right on top of. Okay. Let's start with a quick overview just so you guys get the overall picture very quickly in one graphic. Can you guys see that?
Yep. Digital marketing services. Yep.
Yeah, it's just a quick, this is a one-off quick graphic that shows in one place all the stuff that I do. And I won't go into each point. You can just read what's there. I mean, I've got branding. You know, that's company logo. Well, I said I wasn't going to read it. You can see it, but basically 4 main segments of offering, and you can see on the one hand I've got print there over on the upper right hand side, and below it is online media. These quadrants could be anywhere in terms of importance. It just happens to be laid out the way it is, but they're all important. In fact, I start with strategy with most of my clients. We sit down, we talk about whatever jobs that need to be done, and we get an idea for what are they really after. We got to get to the core, and I have to do a lot of listening. I've got print media there because, well, let's start with branding. Branding, you often need a logo. Pretty much every company worth their salt's got a logo, and they probably need they need stuff to go with that. So I come from a print background. People sometimes say, well, you're a web designer. Do you know how to do that other stuff? Well, I came from many years, and you'll hear some of it in my presentation, many years of being only a graphic designer because there was no internet. And in fact, the very early years, there was no computers. I'm pre-computers, but just by a little bit, because the minute I got out of design school, I basically was I needed to start. I had to go back to night school to get the computer part down. Anyway, and then so that's where the online media comes in. You know, as we all know, the web came in around 2000, a little bit before, and I jumped over. I never stopped doing the print design that I do, and I'll be talking about that and my background in it. But I now am predominantly, it went from being, 20% internet, around 2000, 2001, 2002, 20% internet, 80% print. I was doing print the whole time, and then it switched. So long story short, I'm now doing 80 or 90% online stuff, 10% print, but I still do print stuff. I can do anything from a brochure to letterheads or whatever. So I'm going to just close that one up. That's just the overview, and get into, okay, we'll just click on this one to see what happens here, because it didn't, okay. Stuff's hiding behind windows here, so I should be able to get at it though. Okay. All right. For some reason, it went to page 2 there. Can we see that? Is it a bit cut off at the bottom?
Yeah, Steve, can you go full screen there?
I'm going to need
F5.
to click over on the left.
Or you can
I
press
need
F5.
to be able to click my. Is that pretty good? I guess I could go full screen.
Yeah, if you press F5, sometimes that works.
I'm on a Mac though.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be different.
Okay.
I think that's as big as it gets. It's a little bit cut off at the bottom, and I'm not getting the control I want there. Unless I go in here, single pages, 2 pages. I think if it's okay, I'll just go with that. All right. So the first thing I talk about, if I had to pick 3 words to describe what I do, and I don't have to, but I'm doing it anyway. Experience, diversity, drive. And I'm going to talk a little bit about experience now. So I was lucky enough to be able to go down, when I decided to get into design, I was lucky enough to be able to go down to New York and study at Parsons School of Design. And so I had done a year of Sheridan College illustration, and they took my first year on par with theirs, their first year. So I did a 4-year program in 3 years, graduated, and the first job I had was with, believe it or not, kind of glamorous, but Cosmopolitan magazine. I was a layout artist, and I sat right next to the person who decides on all the covers who are going to be on the models that are going to be on the covers. And it was an interesting job. And yeah, it was a lively crowd, of course, and lots going on, and glamorous kind of thing. But I found that maybe it wasn't exactly, maybe I wasn't a fit for them. They weren't a fit for me. I moved on. And the very next job was quite in contrast. I found myself working for a professor from the college that I had attended, which was Parsons School of Design, as I mentioned. And I was working on the signage for Newark Airport. And it was quite a study in contrast. Suddenly, we're talking very systematic. You got to get people from A to B. But it gave me an appreciation. And I went on, by the way, to also work on 2 Canadian projects. One of them was the pedway system in Edmonton, and the other one was the Calgary Plus 15. These are 2 systems of all the tunnels that connect buildings, especially in the winter. You don't want to go out in the cold. It's the downtown core, and it's got the tunnels, a bit like we have some of here in Ottawa, but in those cities, they're pretty well organized with these systems. And we had to kind of get people around, make sure they knew where they were. When you're in these tunnel systems, you can easily get disoriented and whatever. So there's got to be good signage. And so I learned all about that. And then, I worked in ad agencies and that sort of stuff, but I found myself back in publishing. And I worked for a company called Byron Price Visual Publications. So this was a real shift of gears again. And this is kind of a theme. I'm used to shifting gears. I got to this publishing house, and they're like, well, we do a bit of everything, but how would you like to work on a book for Miles Davis? And so that was like the big hook. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. Like as you guys know, I'm a musician. I love music, and I certainly like my jazz. And Miles Davis was into art on the side. Who knew, right? Like, so he was a good painter, quite a good painter. Very, just like his music, very improvised, right? Everything he did was very improvised. So this was like a large coffee table book that I got to design, and I won an award for it. But I was also doing children's books and science fiction, history books, the whole gamut. It was great variety. There was never a dull moment. I then jumped over to, well, actually, this was kind of part of it. We were brainstorming ideas for books. And one of my pet projects in New York was to go around to you couldn't help but get inspired by the architecture. And I was especially into the lobbies of some of these Art Deco buildings. This is one of the prime examples. This is actually the lobby of the Chrysler building, which is that iconic building not far from the, of course, the Empire State is iconic, and they're not far from each other. So these skyscrapers, a lot of them had these fancy lobbies with very fancy mailboxes that look something like this. And so the mailboxes were an inspiration to me. I love the graphics on it. I love the way that the decorations were combined with the lettering, and well, often it just said U.S. mail and stuff like that, but or letterbox. But there was so much variety just in, hey, what can a letterbox look like? And the patterns on it would mimic what was in the building, the design of the buildings. They were like a microcosm of what the building style was. So I was really into this, and I'm still working on doing a book. It sounds crazy, but all these years later, I want to go to Chicago and Detroit still to be able to finish and get the pictures I need to have a complete book. But that's a pet project that was born at that time that I'm still working on. And it informed my design. See, in this case, this is one of those book designs I did for the book company I was working for. And you see the lettering there. I actually designed that font, and I got inspired by all these mailboxes and stuff. And it happened to be Stainless Steel Visions was the title of this book. And and then not too long after that, I was working for New American Library, and I did this logo, the rock science fiction logo, which is probably my most published logo ever, because this is a division of Penguin Books, and they publish thousands of books a year, digital and print. And ever since I designed it 33 years ago, it's just been ongoing. And this was actually the moving announcement in 1991. I moved from New York to Ottawa. So I had lived and worked in New York for 6 years prior to coming here. And this is the moving announcement. Can you see the influence? So I don't know if you could see that properly, but it was a thing where you could flip it, and it says Ottawa on the one side and New York on the other side, and so you get the idea. Then again, studying contrast. So I was here. I worked in publishing here in the beginning. I was the art director of 2 magazines, Arctic Circle and the CMHC Canadian magazine, Canadian Living magazine, and Canadian Housing. Sorry, get it right. And then at one point they asked me to. I was working with another company that did cartography, and I got involved with redesigning several maps, including the Ontario map. The Ontario map, and specifically the cover and the legend. I redesigned the legend from what it was before, and they're still using a variation of this to this day. And whenever we go to the en route, I always point out to the family, yeah, there's my artwork if they framed it, because you know how you can consult the map there. So it's still being used. Like a lot of the ideas I put in now about 12 years ago are still being used. This is just a logo of a thing I'm involved with now. I'm actually involved with a Grammy Award-winning producer who wants to kind of change the way we're recording bands, and it's a little bit like America's Got Talent, or that kind of thing. Getting musicians together. He came up to Ottawa and recorded 16 bands and individual musicians all in a 3-day session. And this is a Grammy Award-winning producer. So there's a record kind of company that has been spawned out of this thing, and it's an ongoing thing. We're trying to get Sony Records is now interested, and it's pretty exciting. If it works out, I'll be on the album too. So I've got kind of like a way of getting involved with the graphics and also being on the album, which is kind of cool. And this is just one other example of a graphic I did. I did some government work. So this was done for Environment Canada, and it's life cycle management. And it's actually, I talk a lot about icons and the importance of icon graphics. Infographics and using icons. And this comes out of that whole thing as well of working in the signage. When I worked on the Newark Airport, the little signs were very important. You got to get a lot of information across. So I don't know if you can see them at the bottom of the screen. It seems like I think the pictures of us are probably, there's a bunch of icons along the bottom of this. Let me jump over to something completely different right now. I had promised, yeah, so I did a logo for Terry, and I was going to just highlight that and show you how that came out. We spent quite a time going back and forth on it. And at one point I thought I had an approved logo, but she said, no, I want to explore a little more. And I told her, yeah, I want to make sure you're happy. So she had kind of approved this one logo, but we moved away from it. It was a bit too simplistic, and she wanted something round. So without getting to I'm not going to go through all the iterations, but there were quite a few. This was the last round. And just to show you how we get into, first of all, I want to say, slightly influenced, you might see the influence there by the mailboxes, the metallic. But anyway, we had, I thought it was a good idea to, we kept the colors neutral for her. And it was down to, we knew we wanted a kind of a metallic thing. It was round. We'd finalized, we did a lot of different drawings of the face and the features and whatever. There were different ways to do it. We explored it all. We settled on this font, and we settled on the gray, the shades of gray, which silver, a kind of a silver effect, or stainless steel. And basically it was down to the subtleties of, do you put shadows in the line? Do you put, how do you do the shadows in the disc around, and the edges a little bit, like how do you make it fade out? And so we played around a lot with that. And so I'm just showing you this just to show you that some of the detail we get into when we're down to the final level. They all look very similar, right? So it's like, can you notice the difference? It's kind of like, what changed from this picture to that picture, right? Spot the differences, right? But you get down to subtleties, and I'm into that. Like, so when you get to the final level of the design, you think you might have the design, but there's still that fine tuning of the final product. And so I kind of thrive on that. The good stuff is all in the details. God is in the details. I think a famous architect from New York actually said that once, Mies van der Rohe. And so I think finally Terry and her advisors settled on logo number 3, which is over there on the left, if you can see that. That was the one. But yeah, they're all very similar, but just showing you the subtleties. Sorry, there it is. Oops. Okay, so one last thing. I know how much time do I have, Tony?
Yeah, if you could wrap it up within the next minute, that'd be great.
Yeah, really quickly. These are 2 designs for Sam. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh dear. Okay. I thought it was a different one. Okay, this is basically, you've got the main idea here. And I did think I had another version of this. Okay. It basically shows you an ad for his dash cams. And can you see the bottom? I'm not sure if it's cut off or not.
Yeah, no, we can see the bottom. It says professional dash cams. This is right up Sam's alley.
Yeah. So I came up with this, like, kind of out of the blue, thinking about his product, and I showed it to him, and he's like, yeah, I like it a lot. And so basically, the idea is to really show in a very succinct way. This could be used as an ad online, or and this is vertical, but it could be reconfigured to be horizontal depending on which social media. If you're on social media and you want to use it on Facebook, it might want to be in a different format. Instagram tends to be vertical, so this can be reconfigured to whatever is needed, and just showing and it could be put on the back of a business card as well. I was telling him this could be shrunk down and still work pretty small. I might make some tweaks to it and that sort of thing, but the idea is to show the concept. How do you show the concept? I'm juxtaposing a few images and the words. This comes right out of advertising. 101. And so that's something we're working on. And I think Sam's going to use it. I'm not sure, but I think. Does anyone have any questions?
Going to take it off of share. And does anybody have any questions? We got about a minute or so. We're right on top of the hour. We're going to conclude. Anybody have any questions?
Dave, that looks very sharp and very cool. I like the subtleties, and then tying it back into architecture or a design motif, and then wrapping it in there. So you kind of bring.
Which one are you talking about? Sorry, which one? Which one are you talking?
When you went from the mailboxes, then you went into Terry's icon for the health or the skin, right? Right, and yeah, you could see where the elements are coming from. It's almost like if you had that backstory with the logo, not when you're presenting it to the public, but you have that backstory. This is how the recipe. It does two things. One, it shows that Terry's taking in a depth of appreciation, and also at the same time it showcases your skill set.
Yeah. Okay. That's
okay.
That's a really good story to have tied in there. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I'm going to work on it more. I agree. I'm working on my storytelling. I was going to say to the group that one of the things I love to do with all my clients, I didn't really get into any of the web stuff I do or the online. This was sort of like showing more where I come from and how some of the ideas, even from years ago, still percolate in my brain and they come back up. And even the rock logo that I showed you, the ROC logo, the science fiction and fantasy logo, that had the eagle on it. That's also, I didn't really kind of put my finger on it too much, or didn't emphasize it too much, but the eagle motif, it's not really an eagle, but indirectly I got inspired by the mailboxes again from that one, because the mailboxes have a lot of eagles on them, but the way the wings kind of spread out. And when I went to do the rock logo, they said, well, it's a mythical bird. It's a predatory bird. It's the type that swoops down and picks you up and takes you off to their cave, sort of thing. And so I immediately ended up with something that kind of had an eagle feel to it, but it's all influenced by, you never know where your next idea is going to come from. And I keep my eyes open. I do a lot of talking to my clients because some of the best ideas come from just listening. And that's very much an important part of what I do. I try to really listen to what clients want. In Terry's case, we had this design, the initial design, she thought she liked it. She said, yeah, this is the one. I think we're just going to tweak that one. And then in the end, she's like, no, something's wrong. And so I gotta trust my client's intuition. They know their business. They know what feels right, what doesn't feel right. And sometimes there does need to be a rethink and take a step back and try again, take another stab. And I'm all about that. I want to make sure that the full process is done. So enough on that. Could go on a lot longer, but you get the idea.
For those that want to get a hold of Steve, you just schedule a BAM with him. He would be his e-card is on the QR codes, and like with all of us, it's our name basically. With Steve, it's Steve Bren, BREN, on the e-card. So schedule a BAM with him because there's so much information. We could talk about graphic artists for so long. Yeah.
Tony, I just had to show you this because I see on your slide behind you, you've got like the crystal. Yes. And I think I've got like the exact one here from a long time ago. And I use this in my advertising. I use this in my advertising. I talked about getting clarity and crystallizing your messages. Yes. And I might bring it back because I think it's still very pertinent. Like you got to get those core ideas happening. You got to get the inspiration from out there and then bring it back. And how does it relate to people's businesses? And like sometimes a symbol like something like this or whatever can really, it worked for my business for a while. It was my key. I haven't been using it in the last couple of years, but it's a good one.
Okay, so we're just at the top of the hour because it's just after 9 o'clock. Bernie, could you put up the quote for today, bud?
Certainly. To be truly positive in the eyes of some, you have to risk appearing negative in the eyes of others.